What's going on, people? As you know, WandaVision came out today. The first two episodes premiered. We have another video where we're talking about the first episode, but in this one, we're breaking down the second one. I'm Antonio Ache.
I'm Levita host Sway, and this is Comrom, where we do nerdy reviews with the occasional
Original
boost.
Boost.
Yes, indeed. So, WandaVision episode 2. Yeah, big things happen in this episode for sure. So, if you haven't seen the second episode of WandaVision, this is your spoiler warning. All right, so spoilers ahead. Go ahead and check out that episode. And then after you watch it, come back here so we can talk about it in the comment section. Very exciting thing. All right, so episode 2, just a couple of things to note, just a couple of personal things. I thought it was pretty dope when, they were like sleeping in separate beds. I think my first thought was like, is that what they did back then? I thought it was.
Yeah, yeah. I Love Lucy, if I remember correctly.
They slept in separate beds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
honestly, I never saw it.
It was probably a bunch of them because back in then they couldn't show them in the same bed because it was basically like they were showing sex.
That's crazy. Yeah, but then when she, used powers to bring them back together, or turn the two beds into one, I was like, oh, okay, that seems normal. I was like, what married couple sleeps in separate beds? But I guess that shows you how uneducated I am with the times.
I was gonna say not a happy married couple.
Facts.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the that little animated intro.
Mm-hmm.
At this very Jetsons style animation. I thought that was really cool. And when I don't know if you saw, but I thought it was funny. The little when Vision, the animated Vision, is in the office, and the little guy gives him the water, but he can't drink, so he splashes the boss. Yeah, I was kind of weak off that. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, so the first one, the first one, I think it was more kind of a Dick Van Dyke Show kind of beginning, whereas the second episode it was straight up Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie. Yeah, matter of fact, the opening portion, which I'm curious to see curious about that because the opening portion of Bewitched, it was the moon and she's like flying past it on her broom and everything. But in the opening portion of this, they had this moon, but then all these stars started to illuminate around it. And I don't know what that pattern is about exactly, but I'm intrigued. And then, yeah, it just went straight on to that. Matter of fact, there was one thing in the opening that I thought was interesting was the Auntie A's kitty litter. It was just one of the ads in the back, which I think is just a nod to Agatha Harkness and her relationship to Wanda in the comics. Gotcha. And I think Agnes is Agatha, but
Oh, I thought you had more to say right there.
No. I think she is her. And
that didn't sound like a complete thought. All I heard was, I thought that silence.
I was saying, I think this person is this person. Yeah. So episode 2 starts with them actually, like you said, in the two separate beds and everything. But then you hear this noise from outside, and it's played off as being the tree in the window, and it's ha ha ha. However, it sounds like Sword trying to make their initial like entry into this world, and I think that's what they're actually doing. Like they're trying to put different people in there to get to her so that they can kind of like pull her out of it. And for those of you who do not know, Sword is like Shield, although instead of like protecting the Earth on the Earth from different shit, it's protecting the Earth from like otherworldly stuff. And it stands for Sentient World Observation and Response Division or Department. Sentient World Observation and Response Department. That sounds right. But yeah, so just as S.H.I.E.L.D. protected us, Sword goes into these dangerous situations and they keep us safe in a different way.
So then we see them practicing the little magic trick, trying to make Wanda disappear so they can get ready for the annual talent show that helps to raise money for Westview Elementary in their world.
Before she went to actually go to the thing where they were, the ladies were getting stuff done, she saw the little helicopter. The helicopter had
helicopter.
Yeah, it had Iron Man colors, and it was the only thing that stood out with actual color instead of being black and white in this world. And it had a little Sword logo on it. So my thought is that that's an actual like helicopter, like they sent in and they were like, all right, just check it out, and then it got turned into something else. Matter of fact, it might be how what did she say her name was? She said her name was Geraldine. It might be how she got into it. Yeah, because I don't think that she is actually, I mean, I'm certain she isn't. She's Photon. She's, Captain Marvel's sidekick, all of that. She is working with Sword and they put her in there, but I think the helicopter's how she got in, and she just got converted into this world.
So that is funny because that was like the first thing that made me think. I was like, okay, so at first I'm like, it's just in black and white because it's like a 50s themed. But then because the helicopter was red, I was like, okay, well, is this just a black and white world? So do they see each other like dogs do? Just all in black, like in black and white. And then yeah, when Geraldine was kind of hesitant to give her name, I was like, okay, I feel there may be some correlation between what's going on with these two things here.
Yeah, because her name Monica Rambeau. She's a super powerful character named Photon in the comics. She actually changes her name a bunch, but they'll probably go with Photon because Captain Marvel's taken. But yeah, or Spectrum, that'd be cool too. Either way, she's in there, but she doesn't seem to she hasn't gotten full recognition of what's
going on. Yeah. The next glimpse of color is when Dottie cuts her hand. Well, first we see the radio kind of start to spaz out, and what we hear is Wanda, who's doing this to you? Wanda, who's doing this to you? And Wanda's kind of like, whoa, what's going on? Kind of tripping out. Dottie sees this, and then I guess things explode. The radio goes berserk. Her glass in her hand cuts her hand, and then we see red again. When she starts bleeding.
The voice that we hear is Randall Park's character, and he was an agent with the FBI when we last saw him in Ant-Man and the Wasp, but now I'm pretty certain he's working with Sword, and he's reaching out and he's like, Wanda, what's going on? Like trying to speak to her, trying to identify her as an individual who's at the middle of this issue. And the thing about it is, he clearly knows this isn't her. This isn't, she's not creating this. She's not she might be creating it, but she's not the reason for the problem. So he's like,
right.
In the trailer, you can even hear him saying who's doing this to you? What's happening kind of stuff. And that's something that we're going to find out more about as it goes. Really cool thing for me, at least. Dottie is played by the same actress who played Anyanka from Buffy. And Buffy was a show that Joss Whedon did. And it all comes together. I don't know.
I never saw Buffy. So
loved it.
Never saw it. We fast forward to pretty much what's like the main little scene of episode 2 is when they're doing the magic show. Earlier in the episode, when Vision was at his neighborhood watch, they give him a piece of big red bubble gum that gets stuck. That really grinds my gears.
Does Big Red still exist?
I think
as a gum? Oh, well, good product placement because
yeah. I guess. I thought he was when he shows up to the talent show. I mean, you would have thought he was drunk.
Yeah, right. I guess that's a robot's version.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he reveals a little too much at the talent show there. But they're able to play it off as an illusion. So that was pretty neat there.
One of the things I first noticed about Geraldine, who they actually ended up bringing into their act, which I think was kind of indicative of how things are going to go later on in the show, her brooch, a lot of them had these old school brooches on, but that was just a thing of the time. Agnes, hers is kind of unclear. It looks like, I don't know, like a Reaper or it looked like there might have been 2 or 3 people on it, and there was maybe a Reaper scythe or something. I don't know. I couldn't zoom in and enhance. But Geraldine, hers was a lot more clear. Hers looked kind of like a portal. It was just it was a circle with all these things coming off of it, and the sling ring that Dr. Strange uses.
Yeah.
Creates these portals that have these sparks and everything that come off. That might not necessarily be what they were going for, but that's what it showed to me. If you guys noticed anything about their brooches or anything in the show, honestly, that we didn't mention, go ahead and let us know what you noticed in the comments, and we'll get the conversation going.
I'll tell you what I noticed. That sick Strucker Hydra watch, though.
Yeah.
Somebody get me one of those because that thing is sleek, son.
Okay.
They played it off with the classy the guy in the suit and stuff. I was like, okay, I'm gonna need me one of those.
Honestly, didn't expect a Strucker or Hydra mention really, except until we get to the point of when she actually changed and everything. But that was interesting to see. So like maybe there's more that plays into this, or maybe they're just trying to let us know that it was back then and Stark was doing his thing and Strucker was
Right.
doing his thing and nobody knew at the time.
That's what
what
I
all
was
was
thinking. That I was like, it's all pre them, becoming as big as they were and as evil.
Speaking of evil, one character that we have yet to see, who I thought we were going to see, I thought, I don't know what dude's name was in the like a little meeting or whatever, the black guy, because in the trailer they show him with Agnes and they're just like posing near each other and they're like, ha ha. And I think that's coming up in future episodes because it was in color, but I haven't caught a name for him, and he wasn't sitting with her at the table, so I'm certain I don't think they're together. Initially, I thought he might have been an embodiment of Mephisto, but it doesn't seem like it. And she keeps mentioning her husband Ralph, but we don't ever see Ralph. And I think that's because she has this partnership with Mephisto. She's being used by Mephisto, and that's something that is just left to the imagination until it isn't.
Well, I believe they do mention his name. I think it was Herbert or something like that. Because remember,
yeah. They call him Sherbert. Yeah. Okay, so
Sherbert,
he's not Ralph, obviously. My bad.
So after they are awarded the talent show prize because they put on such a comedic performance, which is just them being their true selves, what happens is they kind of go home. They kind of come together, talking about how they were able to be themselves in the talent show, and luckily it worked out in their favor.
Yeah.
And then they hear noise again outside.
Well, okay, so this time it's actually a dude coming up through, and he had the sword logo on him as well. He looked like he was in like a beehive, or not beehive, beekeeper's sort of uniform. But I don't think it was actually a beekeeper's uniform. I think it was more so like a hazmat type of thing. Like if he's not, if he goes in and he's not like breathing in the gas, or he's not, affected by it because he's got like a screen in between, then he can stay cognizant of what his mission is. Because obviously they sent Monica in and she lost her shit. So they had to make sure that the next person comes in and they're protected. But very simple, like she very simply put an end to that, and she was just like, no. And it rewound and it never happened. And that right there, like I said, at the end of the last episode, they gave us a very simple little example of the like mere might that she has, where she's able to just create out of nothing. And then at the end of this episode, it's the same thing. It's I changed what happened because I can, and then all of a sudden that chant that was being like repeated throughout the episode, it finally comes to fruition, because I firmly believe Mephisto is trying to make her do this thing. So that episode was used to give her the idea. And if she's like perfect home and what else is next? Children.
That explained that to me a little bit, because when she did just hit that rewind on everything, and it gets right back to that same little moment that they were sharing together. This time she's pregnant. I was like, what the hell is going on here? Tell me about that.
So when I mentioned before, where in the comics she actually she alters things drastically, and it goes from being regular, like the regular continuity, to House of M, where it's all her and her family like running things. And when she makes that change, she creates these two children that she has.
Okay, so that's what this is. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but like it was a very simple, like, she didn't want something to happen, and she stopped what was going on and altered all of it. And that it was showing us the exact same thing, only on a much smaller scale, where instead of her remaking the entirety of the world, she just rewound that moment, and dude wasn't in there anymore. And she's like, nope, we're good. Now, one of the big things that she does in the comics that happens after this is she says, no more mutants. And literally all of the mutant population, or like most of the mutant population, is affected by this. They stop being born. They stop, like some of them just stop having powers. Huge thing. But it's largely different because our cinematic universe doesn't have mutants yet, technically. So I think she's going to be a portion of the birth for them. Not just the birth for Wiccan and Speed. She's going to be the birth for mutants as a whole coming into things, even if it's just because she created a weakness in the fabric of reality, and mutants kind of bleed over. Bring me my mutants. You have the money for them now, please.
Since she's into, making drastic changes, was she the one that brought color back into this black and white world, or was that just something that
I think she was. I think she was. I think she was the reason. Honestly, I feel like all of this is her. It's just somebody else making her do it by accident.
Gotcha.
So like she's creating this because without this little world, Vision's dead.
Right.
Without this little world, she's not. Like she was freaking pissed at the in Endgame. She was like, "You took everything." So Vision is her everything, and she needs this back. She, like I said, she has the mental break in the comics, and she does what she does with it, and that's what this is. This is just her like working through her agony and trying to make something of it. Where while she's doing this, somebody else is like whispering in her ear and giving her little hints and stuff, for the children.
Okay.
What questions do you guys have for the next episode? What do you think is coming up? Where do you see this going in episode 3 and beyond? Let us know in the comments.
So this has been WandaVision episode 2, the review. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. So far I'm liking the show. I can't wait for the new episodes to come out. If you like the video, please thumbs up. Helps a lot, more than you think. Hit the bell so you're notified the next time that we post a video. Make sure you hit all notifications so you're notified every time. If you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We got lots of videos coming.
So until the next time, when you stay up until 3 a.m. because that's when they drop episodes on Disney Plus. I'm Antonio Ache.
I'm Levita Josue, and this is Rom, where we do nerdy reviews with the occasional booze and the occasional coffee, because it is early.
Yeah, it's so early.